duty to safeguard the nationality, sovereignty, integrity of Nepal, and to abide the constitution and law, to render the compulsory service as when the state so requires, to protect and preserve public property. These are the duties guaranteed in the Article 48 in the Constitution. Silent features in bullet wise look at Federal Democratic Republican Government System. This constitution focuses firstly on the Federal Democratic Republican Government governing system. What type of system we adopted? Federal Democratic Republican governance system. That means democracy is also adopted with federalism, and also republican system is also adopted in this constitution. If you see the article 202, article 21, sovereignty and state authority is vested to the Nepali people. Sovereignty, supreme authority. State authority means ruling authority is vested to the Nepalese people. Similarly, federal citizens by descent, name of father or mother. If you see the Article 11 of the Constitution, there is the provisions that citizenship and citizens may name by their father, mother, whatever they want, by lineage, in the name of mother, in the name of father, they can acquire the citizenship. Similarly, structure of 7 provinces, state, secular nations. If you see the provision of the Constitution, clearly classified 7 provinces, 7 states, and Nepal is also secular state declared by the Constitution. So Nepal is not Hindu country, but it is secular state. If you see the Article 4 of the Constitution, there is the provisions that Nepal is secular state. Secular means religions, cultural freedoms, including protection of all religions, cultures handed from time to immemorial. That's why Nepal is free from any religious matters, secular state. 3 steps of state structure: federal, provincial, local. There is 1 government in central, that is federal government, 7 government in province, state, that is provincial government, and 753 local governments. There are 3 layers of the government. The constitutional president elected from the federal and provincial parliament. If you see the Article 62 of the Constitution, the president is elected from the federal and provincial parliament. Not only federal parliament, not only the House of Representatives or House of Assemblies or National Commissions, but also elected from the provincial, all 7 states provincial parliament. So, who becomes the president? If federal and provincial parliament jointly vote and get the majority vote, then that person becomes the president. Now, we have Vidyadevi Bhandari as the nation's president, right? Improve parliament government system. So, what type of parliamentary system are improved? Why? Because there is post-pass system and another inclusive system. That's why it is improved. And prime minister elected by the parliament as a chief executive. Who becomes the prime minister? The majority holders of the house, majority holders of the legislation, or majority holders of the legislation parliaments becomes the prime minister, and the prime minister is elected through the parliament. It is found in the Article 74, 76. No prime minister can dissolve the parliament. No, there is the provisions. No, directly prime minister can dissolve the parliament. But certain conditions, if the conditions finally fulfill, then on the recommendation of prime minister, president can dissolve the parliament. So you heard 2 cases, 2 stories before our country dissolved the parliament. Finally, Supreme Court again revived the parliament. The motions of no confidence against Prime Minister cannot be registered for 2 years. If you see the Article 184, the no confidence motions against Prime Minister cannot be registered for 2 years. After 2 years, then motions may register. No confidence motion may register. Otherwise, 2 years is compulsory, barred, time barred. Two-third majority can amend the constitution. If you see the provision Article 274, two-third majority, at least 67% of the legislature parliament can amend the constitution. Amendments can edit the provisions of the constitutions. Bi-cameral legislature parliament in central. Bi-cameral means two layers, two camerals, two chambers parliament in the center, that is federal legislation. Those are the House of Representatives, lower, and National Assembly. If you see the Article 83 of the Constitution, then House of Representatives and National Assembly, there are two parliamentary division, and finally that becomes legislature parliament. Directly elected from 165 and proportionally elected 110 out of 275 members of the House of Representatives. If you see the Article 84(1), first post-past system, that is directly elected members are only in the federal parliament 165 and proportionally elected 110. In total, 275 members are elected in the House of Representatives. Maximum 25 members of the council, of ministers in the center. If the cabinet is formed or executive is formed, only 25 members, not more than 25 members of the house becomes ministers. So in total numbers of ministers only limited to the 25 only. Single house parliament in the state. If you see the Article 175, then there is a single unicameral legislation in the state, in the province. Total, how many members in the province? 550 members of the parliament in the 7 provinces. If you see the Article 176, 500 in total, 550 members of the parliament in the 7 provinces. In province, the chief ministers elected by the provincial parliament and provincial chief nominated by the president. So there is the provisions of chief minister, provincial government, and another, the unit of the federal is provincial chief. Governor is also appointed by the president. If you see the Article 168, there is the provision of governor. Yes. Council of ministers in province should not be more than 20% of total members of the provincial parliament. Limitation is located here. In the province, there is only 20%. That means one fifth of the parliament of the state may sit in the council of provincial ministers, not more than 20%. Similarly, the members of the provincial parliament shall be elected directly 60% and proportionally 40%, same as the federal parliament. If you see the composition or formation of the parliament, 60% directly elected, first post-past system, directly elected, who wins the votes, then that person becomes the legislature parliament, and 40% indirectly, proportionally becomes the member of the parliament. This provision is same as in the federal legislation and provincial legislation. Two-third majority of the provincial parliament shall name the province. Look at who can the power have the naming the state or province? Two-third majority of the provincial parliament. Naming finish. Where? Beni province name given by the provincial parliament. Bagmati province, Gandaki province, Karnali province. These are names given by the provincial parliament. But province number 1, province number 2, province number 7 are not um, concluded their name using this power. Divisions of jurisdiction of the central, provincial, local government in the constitution. If you see the article 56 to 60 article of the constitution, there is a division of jurisdiction of the central, province and local government. That means what? That means uh, division of state power, structure of the state, distribution of state powers, exercise of financial powers, that is clearly clarified by the Constitution. Transitional arrangement of use of rights in the provincial assembly and government by the central until they will be formed. If there is no election in the state, no election in the province, then central make the government and make the laws as using by this power. But only this is the provision of transitional provision. Unified judiciary, unitary judicial system. If you see the 125 of the constitution, that is unitary system of judiciary is found in our constitution. The Supreme Court in the center, constitutional bench in the Supreme Court, 128 and 137. If you see the articles of the constitution, Supreme Court is in the center, and in the Supreme Court there is constitutional bench in the Supreme Court also. So finally, this is the head supreme authority to the judiciary. Similarly, the High Court in every province, District Court in current district. So district no change, but province there is a one High Court in province, and extension bench may be exist everywhere. In state number 1, there are 3 extension bench of the High Court. Similarly, different commissions of Madhesi, Tharu, indigenous, ethnic, etc. We already talked about it. All mother tongues as national language. Nepali language with Devanagari script is the official language. If you see the Article 7 of the Constitution, then Devanagari language is the official language, and all mother tongues are national language. It is written in the Constitution. National animal, cow. National flag, national anthem, as it is. No change in these things. District as administrative unit, already from the Panchayati Constitution, district is acting as an administrative unit. Elected district assembly in the district, Article 220. If you see the district assemblies, and district assemblies is formed for the purpose coordinating to the local bodies, to coordinate between the local bodies. Yes, government consists of federal commission. A federal commission will restructure the local bodies within 1 year. If you see the Article 295, then federal commission restructure the local bodies, areas of the local bodies. This is the provision is this provision is found in the Constitution. Transitional arrangement of the interim election for the local bodies. Yes, and there is a provisions also elections. The members of the Constitutional Assembly who were elected 4 years will be members of the transformed legislative parliament for the rest of tenure. So after declaration of this constitution, the CA members parliament, Constitutional Assembly is converted into the legislative parliament as a act as a legislation, right? The general election will be declared before the 224 BS, and their tenure will be terminated by the day of nomination of candidates. So there is the date 2074 BS is the final date, and within this date the election will be held. Is written in the Constitution. Thank you. Okay.